Decided to have a stand or a stall at a show or an event, and you want to make the most of it, and you want to make sure that you get a return on your investment, because let's face it, there's going to be some time and some money involved. Well, stay tuned, because today I am going to share with you the top tips that will really help to make sure that you have a successful stand at a show or event for your equine business. So you ready? Let's dive in. Hello, I'm Jenny Bush, online business coach and consultant, and I've been helping equine businesses to build a stable business since 2018. Today we are talking about trade stands and how to make the most of it. Before I dive in, I want to let you know, if you watch to the end, I will share how you can get your hands on my equine business planner, and also how you can get the checklist that goes along with this video. Now, before we begin, let me know in the comments, A, is this the first time that you've had a trade stand and you'll be exhibiting for a business or for your business? Or B, have you had a trade stand or exhibited before? So let me know, which one are you? A, are you a newbie? Or B, are you just looking to make sure that you get some more tips and make the most of it? Let me know. Put it in the comments. So the first step is, of course, to make sure that you have agreed to go to the right show. Now, I touch a bit more on this in my other video, which I will link, about how this is the right trade show for you. And the key things are really just to check that your ideal clients are going to be there, to know that you're actually going to get enough footfall. But I go into more detail on that in my other video. So go and check that out if you aren't sure and you want to make sure that you're choosing the right trade show for you. So the second thing is to decide what it is you're going to do at that show, what your stand is going to do. Are you going to be there just because you don't maybe have a product or a service? Maybe you're like me, you're a service-based business and you can't sell much on the day. So you're there to collect leads and to increase brand awareness and to get in front of people. Or are you actually going there to sell and to make sales? So decide on your objective. And then once we've got that, we're going to move on to the strategy. Now, the strategy is so important, which is why I say stay to the end. Listen, I'll tell you how to get the checklist, because I'm going to talk about it all, but I've got this into a really lovely checklist that you can get. The first part of your strategy is again making sure that you're aware of what you're trying to do, leads or sales, and you know how you're going to deliver that. So there's a few things that you need to do. So number one is you need to make sure that when you're designing your stand, and I would say try it if you can to actually put it up somewhere, play around with getting things dressed and putting together displays, and make sure that it's inviting. It's really, really important, especially with trade shows. And I don't know if you've been to many, but I've been to quite a few, not just as an exhibitor. I used to do a lot of bridal shows, but also as a visitor. I've been to a lot of exhibitions, and there's something odd about them. Like when you're going through the stands, sometimes because they're like these little cubicle designs, it's almost like there's this barrier in front, and people, sometimes you don't want to go into the stand, but also you don't want it sort of pushed right to the edge and you can't get into it. And so you've got to design it so it actually feels inviting. So take your time to actually plan out your stand. I would make sure that you're aware of where that barrier is likely to be, that imaginary barrier that people have. It's almost like the energy that we have between us and our horses. Our horses have got a threshold. We've got a threshold. The same is with trade stands. So play around a little bit, ask people, see if they feel that they could come in. And you're going to make sure that you remove any barriers that make them just feel like, oh, if you've got any leaflets and things that you want people to grab, make sure that they're placed at the front so they're really easy for people who aren't yet in that stage where they want to come in, that they could grab them as they go past. And of course, just place things towards the side so it almost draws people in, invites them in. Another thing with the stand design is to think about making sure that it's visitor friendly. If you imagine, depending on where it is you're exhibiting, sometimes people have been walking around for ages. So if you've got things that they could just lean against or perch on, that sometimes can be quite good, because that helps. And I know one of the tips that I see a lot is have like bags of sweets or lollies And I know that, like, with COVID and everything that's gone on, you've got to be a little bit careful on handing those things out, but you might be able to do some of those and give them those lollies. So if they've been walking around for a while and they've got a bit of a sugar low, that will really help. Now, the other thing that's really, really important, and I know when I went to the London International Horse Show, and I actually went around and I interviewed quite a lot of people that had stands and asked them how they were getting on and whether it was worth it and how they felt. And there were a few who really needed to work on the team. The team is essential on your stand. So, first of all, never ever, I know this the hard way, never do it on your own. Never do it on your own because they're hard work. You're often there early in the morning, you're setting up, there's quite a rush to set up, there's a rush to get back. You are going to need a break. They're long days. You spend a lot of time smiling and talking to people, and it's exhausting. So make sure that you have got somebody there to support you that will take over so you can have breaks. But in addition to that team, it's really, really important to be clear as to what you want and what you expect. I've actually been to shows and I remember sitting there and there was somebody, they'd got their laptop and they'd set up their beautiful sound and they sat at the back on their laptop like this. Just like that, right? So, of course, anybody walking past, you were like, and it just didn't feel inviting. I was kind of like, especially if you've paid an awful lot of money to be there, don't do that. So you need to have people that are going to be outside of the stand. Like, you don't want you in the stand unless, of course, it's like you're at the point of sale and you've got to have somebody there to take the money. But you need people on the outside because that will help to draw people in. If you've got people on the inside, yes, standing there at the back eating or drinking or just working away, it's quite off-putting energy. So just be aware of that. You need to make sure that you've got a team. So put together a team, make sure that you can have a rota and a plan so you know who's taking what breaks, etc., etc. And then help them to understand that there needs to be a strategy there. So make sure that you've got people out the front that are going to attract attention. They're going to have some buzz. I saw somebody saying that I thought was a really good tip, and I can't remember who it was, but they were saying you have things that you can move, feel, touch, that you can play with, and then you can give them away. And so you want to be able to have conversations with people as they go through. You want to be able to engage, and it needs to be a way that's easy and non-salesy. And yeah, so competitions, free gifts, things like that. Not only can you use them for lead generation, but they will build some buzz. So think about how you can do that as part of the strategy. In addition to thinking about the strategy on the stand, think of things that are going to start conversation, things that you can talk to people who are likely to be there about. And they can be really, really simple questions. But if you've already practiced them, if you've already written them down, if you've already made that decision, it makes it a lot easier on the day to actually start talking to people. So think about saying to people, oh, are you enjoying the show? Have you spotted this? I heard there's this. Is that right? Questions that are open-ended that they can have a conversation with. And if they are closed questions where it is a yes or no, try and get ones that are yeses. Try and make them positive and easy to say. Don't go, would you like any help? Because most people go, no thanks. I remember going to one specific wedding fair once, and we were at this wedding fair and there was a makeup stand opposite us, and the people were literally jumping on people. They were so pushy. So it meant that the energy was just like, and everybody that came past my stall, which was opposite, were rushing by purposely to avoid those people, and it really did affect my sales. So if you've got somebody around like that and you give a safe haven for it, it would really, really help them. In addition to writing down some questions so that you're ready and you're prepared and you've practiced them, also write down what you do and how you do it so that you can practice saying that over and over again as well. So you can make it really, really easy, because there's nothing worse than going to somebody and go, so what is it you do? And then they're like, well, we kind of do everything, and then we do a little bit of everything, and people are like, oh, right, okay. So you need to make sure that you can actually clearly, and your team can actually clearly say, what we do. So try and make it really driven by like the benefit, the result, what it does for people, like what you do for people and then what you are, rather than just go, oh, I'm a business coach. Whereas if I said, I help equine businesses to build really good brands and stable businesses, they'll go, oh, yeah, what do you do? And then I can say, well, I'm a qualified business coach and certified consultant, and this is what I do. And then I can talk to them and ask questions, and I can have that conversation. So have a little way of just pulling out some punchy ways of saying who you help and how you help them. So then, of course, once you've got those things written out, once you've got some ideas for questions that you could be asking people to start conversations, and you've got what you have written down about you and what you do, make sure that you share it with your team. And again, once you're sharing it with your team, explain how you want them to connect with people, what energy that you need, that you understand that some people have got better strengths than others, because some of us are probably going to be introverted and find it quite difficult, and some are going to be extroverted. So play to people's strengths, allow them to do a little bit of role playing, allow them to ask questions, get them comfortable with it before you get to the show, because by the time you're at the show, it's going to be too late. Now, if your objective is leads for the show, you need to make lead generation super easy. Super easy. So how can you get them to sign up or whatever? You could do it through a QR code where they can click and do things. You could do it through getting them to fill out some forms. You could do it through a survey, whatever you feel is easiest. But if you're doing one, I suggest that actually just getting people to fill out slips or postcards or something like that, and keep it to 5 or less questions so that they can answer it in less than 30 seconds. I'm always talking about making it super easy. Sometimes we like to complicate it too much. We want too much stuff. But you could be doing to generate leads, you could do a competition, you could do a giveaway, you could put together a big bundle of something that you could do a guess how many sweets are in the jar. It doesn't even have to necessarily be with your business, but it would just really help you to have something to talk about, to build that buzz, and also to collect those leads at the same time. Now, the other thing is, if you are doing that strategy where you are going to be getting people to fill out names or put their name on an address on a post-it and chuck it in a box or whatever, make sure it's visually appealing. And again, if you can put it towards the front of your stand, it's going to really help people to go, oh, what's that? Perhaps you need to create some banners or some posters. Perhaps you need to get like an easel board out the front to say, enter to win, so it pulls people in and draws them into your stand, and it will really help. So have a little think about how you can actually promote that rather than just having a box on the table, because most people will walk past it. So make it really super easy and visually attractive for people. And if your objective is sales, sales, please put a show special together. I cannot stress enough that you should have a show special, because if people feel that they can just go and look at your stand and think, well, I can buy it online later, you will miss the opportunity to make sales and to possibly add in upsells and downsells and to make more money. So put a special show offer together. Make sure that it doesn't necessarily have to be like you discounting things. Maybe it's a bundle where you put certain objects together and so they get it for a better price. But also make sure that people are aware that this is a show special. They'll only be able to get it today. It was quite disappointing. Like recently when I went to the 2021 London International Horse Show, there weren't many show specials. And I was going looking, and a lot of people hadn't put an offer together for that specific show. And again, the reason that I say do that is because it gives people another conversation starter. Have you seen? We're doing this today. You can't get it anywhere else. Like it makes it something for you guys to talk about, if nothing else. But also, it can really make a difference to how much you sell on the day. So think about doing a show special. Maybe it's even like, I often say to people, sometimes you can add value for that show special by adding in an ebook or a workbook or a voucher code for 10% off online, or add a £10 gift voucher. You could do lots of different things that aren't necessarily going to cost you more money. or reduce your profit. So try and think outside the box a little bit when it comes to your show special if you don't want to lose money, but make sure you do have a show special. And again, make sure it's big and it's obvious so that people walking past can see that you have got a special deal for show guests today only. And then as part of your strategy, I want to make sure that you decide how you're going to follow up afterwards. Because I don't know about you, but I've entered loads of things when I've gone to shows and hardly any of them have ever followed up with me. So think about, could you send them an opt-in email? Could you send them an email? It's lovely to meet you at the show today. We've got a special offer. Would you like to opt into my marketing emails and then get their permission, give them a reason to opt in? You collected mobile numbers. You could send them a text and say, it was lovely to meet you today. Just have a strategy now before you do it for how you're going to follow up, and be ready to follow up with people that you collected details from. Be using this to grow your business for the future for a long, long time. You can get repeat business from this one show. Make sure that you put your strategy in place for that. So just to go through a few key questions, like make sure that you know your objective of the show, make sure you know how you're going to make the most of that, how you're going to make it happen. You think about your energy and how you want that draw and drive, very much like if you were handling your horse, as I said earlier. Think about your staff and how you want them to behave and how you need them to behave. Perhaps you even need to give them all branded clothing to wear while they're out on the show. Can you use this show to grow your list and your business, to continue business after the event? And how can you improve your chances of getting someone to check out the business once they are at home? How can you make sure you make the most of it? Which is why I absolutely love goodie bags and little giveaway things, because I'll often go and have a look at things that intrigue me. So I've got this checklist that's going to go through some things that you want to do before the event. So beforehand, you want to make sure that you've written a list of everything you need. You've got your team together, connect with organisers and everybody on social media, create some marketing materials for the show. Let your current clients know that you will be there so that they can connect with you, so they can come and see you. Maybe write some emails, create some social posts. Let people know that you are going to be there and actually start to promote the show, because you can do so much for yourself as well. Then you're going to make sure that you set up your stand, you design it, take some photos of how you want things to look. So if you're at home, you've got the time to think about it. So you can prep how you want things to look, take a photo, and then on the day when you set up, if you've got that photo in with all your equipment, people will be able to make it look consistent and similar to how you already planned it. Because again, it takes time, and a lot of the time in the show setup, some days you have to do it all in one day, set it up before a certain time, doors are open, then you've got to take it all down. You won't have time to play around with it, and trust me, this stuff takes longer than you think. So set it up, take some photos, show how you want it to look, check on it, rethink it, design it, make sure that it's inviting and it's going to bring people in. Then before the show, you can actually even create your follow-up stuff. And I would suggest do it now, like draft your emails on how you're going to follow up, how you're going to, if you're going to send text, draft it, save it somewhere, so that actually after the event, you're going to be exhausted, you're going to be tired, you haven't got to think about that. So think about, at this stage before the event, what will I need after the event as well? Then actually, once you get there, once you are at the show, you need to make sure that you decorate the stand well, that it fits what you've already planned. You need to also make sure that you remove any barriers. So anything that's blocking people, that's going to stop that flow, really, really work about the space and how you're going to draw people in. When you get there, also go and, once you've set up, hopefully because you've planned how you want everything to be, you'll set up much quicker, which will give you time to go and network with other stall holders before everybody comes in. So you can actually start to build your network. You can be interested in their business and perhaps create some really cool collaborations just from that show. Then again, at the event, make sure that you position yourselves outside of your stand, just to the sides, drawing people in. Do not be at the back in the stand, because it's kind of pushing your energy, almost saying don't come in. You want people to feel that they can go in and move out. Also, make sure that you don't sit down. I know this is a thing that you're going to go, what are you saying? But actually, when you're sitting down, your energy is really different, and it's it's less inviting to people. So if you feel that you are going to need to sit down again, make sure that you've got a team and you take regular breaks, and then you can go and hide somewhere and have a sit down or a lay down or whatever you need. If you really are on your own and you think you might need to rest or sit down, as I said earlier, think about having like tall bar stools that you can just perch on, so you're still standing up but you're just perching and resting against, or tall things that you can lean against as well, because that's not quite the same as people sitting down. I used to actually have an ironing chair. It used to be for when I used to do shows, and it kind of was like it folded up, so it was nice and easy to take around with me, but it was at an angle, so you literally just perched your bum on it. So perhaps even one of them that you can just lean on, so you're not sitting down, because again, it keeps you eye level with people walking around, and that makes a difference because you want to be able to create that connection with people. And then, of course, you're going to action your questions, you're going to move around a bit, you're going to show what you're giving away, you're going to talk to people, and you are going to put the strategy that you created into place. Which then brings me on to after the event. So once you finish, you're going to be quite exhausted. You've got to pack everything away. So again, have a plan of how you're going to pack things away, so it's super easy. And I must admit, for me, it was just a case of chuck it all in and I'll sort it out when I get home. But if you've got a specific way, maybe have it written out of how you need things to go in, so that you don't have to think about it, reduce your stress, make it easier for yourself. You also, at this stage, follow up with everybody as quickly as possible. Now, because you've already written your emails or your texts or whatever it is that you're going to do to follow up with people, you could even do that now. You could go live on Facebook and let everybody know that you've finished and that you are going to be sending out the stuff. You could then even do a live draw on Facebook tomorrow, but you could be messaging everybody and saying, make sure you follow me on Facebook. I'm going to be doing the live draw of our competition. Or you can make sure that you can do that tomorrow. But again, make it easy. If you've already thought about how you're going to enter the details and get in touch with everybody, it can be so much easier. So also, after the event, I would suggest that you write a review down, like spend some time to actually sit down and go, what went well? What worked? What would you do differently? What were other businesses doing that you think that you could do for your business next time you were to do another stand? And then make sure that you've stored everything properly and that it's easy to come back to and put out again, and you can store that away for the next time. Also, you might need to make a little list of anything that needs replacing, or anything stock that you need replenishing, or anything that you might need to buy for the next one. So again, when you next book another show, you've got everything already. You just don't have to think about it. I think that just about covers everything. But of course, I must let you know how to grab that free checklist. So everything that I've just covered, I'm going to be sharing in this checklist. And what I will do is I'm going to leave the link below, and you can click on there and you can access the checklist. I'm not even going to make you sign up, which is crazy. Absolutely crazy, I know. If you enjoyed this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified when I post a new video. And do tell me in the comments, like, what part of this you'll be implementing, or if there was anything that you hadn't previously thought about for your trade stand. Not part of my free community for horse business owners, I'd love to invite you to join the Equestrian Business Support Network. It's my free Facebook group, and in there you can also grab your free equine business planner. Just simply head to the links that are below, or head to Facebook and look up the Equestrian Business Support Network. And if you would like to have my eyes on your business to find out how you can work with me one-to-one or in my memberships, head to jennybush.com. So that's it for now. Don't forget to go and join the Equestrian Business Support Network, or grab my free business planner. I'll put all those links below. Let me know if you've got any questions, and I will see you in the next video. Bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe so that you don't ever miss a video from me. And of course, find me on social media at Equine Business Assistant. I look forward to seeing you soon.